Embrace this. You will rarely have a perfect trade. You will always leave money on the table. You will rarely buy the bottom and sell the top. You may lose more than you will win. You need to realize that there is nothing perfect in trading. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonaccis-Traders.com here with the daily market recap. Let's hit the charts. SPY daily, doji off the 378 area, this 378 area, looking left, important support and resistance area throughout 2022, now doji, and if we notice, this 378 area is also the 50% retracement of this trend from swing low of October, swing high December. Now doji off the 50% area. Let's see if we can get some kind of a bounce towards this gap here. And as you noticed already, no Santa rally this year unfortunately, but it is what it is. All we have to do is follow price and use the levels to manage the risk. Whether we are short, we have the levels to the upside to manage the risk, or if we are long, we have these levels to the downside to manage our risk. Each and every level will be support or resistance for price action. QQQ went all the way to the 267 area, looking left, support zone since September earlier this year. Now doji off this area. Let's see if bulls of the QQQ can reclaim above this trend line and back inside this uptrend channel. IWM went all the way, retracement to the 618 level. Let's see if bulls can hold this one. Otherwise 168 and maybe even back to the 162, 163 area. This area is a very important support level of the IWM since June's lows and September and October lows. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you very much. Dow Jones, 3 consecutive dojis, basically moving sideways after 3 very red days. Now let's see if the 324 area will hold. Only by looking left, we can see that this area is a very important area for price action on the Dow Jones. Failing to hold, we have all these levels to the downside to look at, and we also have here a small gap. Let's see if this gap here will get filled, and we also have this small gap to the upside. Let's see if this is a gap. The low of this day is 330.78. Yep, we have here a small gap that needs to get filled. XLE, basically the 83, 84 area is holding throughout past weekend. So this area, looking left, was a resistance for price action. Now it's holding as support, and we do see here some kind of a double bottom of this area. If this double bottom will get validated, we can see back to the 91, 92 area, but it needs to get validated, and it will get validated above the 86. So pay attention. Above 86, we have a potential double bottom towards the 90-91 area. Failing to hold the 83, we shall see 80 to the downside. Follow price, use levels to manage risk, and never be biased, guys. Always prepare for both sides, because we don't know, no one knows what will happen next. Trading is a game of probabilities, but with the proper risk management and a good trading plan, we can increase the probabilities and the odds to be on our side. But the most important thing is never be biased. Always prepare for both sides. SMH is at the 50% retracement of this swing low, swing high, 50% retracement doji. Let's see if this doji can validate and signal a trend reversal to the upside. And we have 212 and 221 as a potential resistance for price action if it will go to the upside. Failing to hold this 205, and we have a gap to the downside at the 197 area that most probably will get filled. And if we are already here, so the sooner this gap will get filled, the better. Natural gas, as we said in previous videos, this area of the 514, 520 is a very important level of support for gas, because it was a very tough resistance throughout since, let's say, November of 2021 all the way to March 22, and now it's support. Failing to hold this strong support, 460 and 405 to the downside. Oil trying once again to break up and above this short-term trend line. If price will manage to break up and above 78 and maybe even going to retest this long-term trend line that goes all the way back to June 2022, one attempt or more. Failing to do so, and bulls might give up. 74 needs to hold, otherwise we will retest this trend line to the downside. Bitcoin basically doing nothing since November inside this box, with one attempt to the upside and retesting here June's low, November low, sorry. So let's see which side price will take us. Let me know what you think. Are we going to break again to the downside and retest the 15,500, or are we going to get some kind of a bounce and another break up attempt towards the 18,000 and maybe to the 18,600? Let me know in the comments below. I would like to think, what do you think? Would like to hear, what do you think? Dollar index continuation, slowly grinding to the downside, but as we see, it's not very effective on SPY and Friends, but we can see that the 104 is trying to hold. It's like a magnet to price action, because if we look left, also during May and June earlier this year, this area of the 104 was a very important level for price action. Apple, let's see what's going on Apple. After 4 days to the downside came the fifth candle, and 5, as we all know, is a Fibonacci number. Fifth candle, doji, almost retesting June's low. We can say it tested 130, and June's low were at the 129. We tested June's low. Doji, after a major fallout, 4 days, fifth candle doji. Now let's see if we can get some kind of a bounce, because doji is the most significant signal in price action and candlestick analysis that a trend might be shifting to the other side. And if we came from a downtrend, we have a doji, we might get some kind of a trend reversal to the upside, but we have all these levels as resistance for price action. Nvidia, same here, 4 days to the downside. Here came the fifth candle, doji off a trend line. Let's see if this will validate and we will get some kind of a bounce. We have this gap here, so follow price and let's see if really fifth candle, Fibonacci and trend line, all this came together for a trend reversal. Failing to do so, we have this gap to the downside that will get filled. Tesla, the chart speaks for itself, breaking down and under, failing to hold this trend line, and now with high probability the red trend line is next, and we can assume that around the 120 area price will meet this red trend line. Microsoft holding the 237, 238 area, and if we can see throughout November it was support, now retesting this support again. Let's see if we will get continuation to the downside, closing this gap here, or are we going for a retest this trend line. Netflix, we have 260, 280, sorry, that needs to hold. Looking left, this area throughout since October, November, and now December, holding a support. We have the trend lines to help us to identify that we are still in an uptrend. Higher lows, if this trend line will fail to hold, we have the lower red trend line that identifies July low, October lows, and we might get somewhere at the 260 area to the downside. Shopify holding the 36 area. Let's see if we can get some kind of a bounce back towards the 40, or are we going to have continuation to the downside and closing the gap at the 32.30 area. We can also identify some kind of a downtrend channel here, short-term downtrend channel breaking below this uptrend channel, so we can delete it. We like a clear chart, clean chart, only candlesticks, trend lines, and Fibonacci. And if you are a pattern seeker, we have a cup and handle, but as you know me, I don't trust patterns. The only thing I trust is candlestick analysis, Fibonacci, and trend lines. Amazon almost touched this trend line here. Let's see if this doji can validate as a trend reversal signal, at least retesting this short-term trend line. Let's see Fibonacci, swing high, swing low. If this trend line will break to the upside, we have 96 and 98 and all these levels to the upside. If this trend line will fail to hold, we have all these levels as a potential support for price action to the future. So once again, thank you very much for watching. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe. And until the next video, do good things.